Hello, everybody. So next up on the chopping block is pulse rifles for the tier lists. So how I'll be rating these is how good I feel each pulse rifle is in a competitive environment, such as comp or trials. There are some pulse rifles that perform really well in quick play, and I just feel they're not very good for comp or trials, so they'll be towards the bottom. I do mention a few niche cases where I feel like it should be higher for quick play or not. Now, I will be basing it on the archetype of pulse rifle. If it's not a very good archetype, then it's probably lower on the tier list. If it's a good archetype, it's probably higher, just due to the archetypes and whatnot and what I see personally as competitive. Remember, this is my opinion, so if you have a different opinion, that is okay. You can rate your own tier list. This is just how I value each of the pulse rifles and how strong I believe they are, as well as the perks that they have on them. If you do enjoy the video, please remember to like. If you enjoy my content, please do subscribe. Thank you and enjoy the tier list. All right. So starting off with the pulse rifle tier list, Autumn Wind. This is a rapid fire frame. So rapid fires can be good, but they need some pretty stellar perks and stat packages to really make them good. So this pulse rifle does have a lot of perks. Killing Wind's not bad. If that was Slide Shot, that'd be good, but Slide Waste kind of is bad. Perpetual Motion's pretty good. Moving Target's good. Headseeker's really good. Honestly, overall, a pretty good pulse rifle. The stats aren't the greatest, so I can't really put it anywhere super high, but honestly, I'd say it's a mid-tier pulse rifle. Rapid fires can be pretty good. They're not the most meta by any means, but you can definitely get some stuff done with it. All right, the Battle Scar, 450 rate of fire pulse rifle. The stat package isn't the greatest. Encore and Perpetual is decent. Headseeker's good. Keep Away is good. Honestly, pretty good pulse rifle. Origin Trade's good. Can get good range if you really want it. So 33 meters of range. Not the greatest amount of range, to be honest with you, but it's definitely pretty decent. So I would also put it in the B tier. I feel like there's going to be a lot of pulse rifles that go in this tier. The BXR Battler. Now, I love this thing. It's craftable. Super strong for quick play. But obviously, we're going to be balancing or putting our tier list towards trials and comp. But it does have some decent perks. Perpetual is good. Kill Clip's good. Blunt Executions can be good, depending on how you use it. But honestly, this thing doesn't really have a whole lot for competitive style of play. So I'm definitely going to put it in the C tier for competitive. Quick play, I definitely think it could be A or B tier, but if you're playing threes, I feel like you really need Kill Clip to make it good, which you're not going to have that perk procced very often. Right, Bag Juju, its stats aren't the greatest. Its range isn't very good at only 30 meters. It can be decent for quick play, but honestly, I'm going to put Bag Juju in D tier. It is not very good. Anytime I use it, it's like I can have some decent games, but I'm definitely fighting an uphill battle with it. So, Shattering Bone, 450 with pretty good base stats. It has Keep Away, it has Headseeker, it has Elemental Capacitor. Like overall, it's has some pretty good perks. Rapid Hit too, if you really want some more stability. Honestly, really solid pulse rifle. B tier. Cold Denial. So this is our slow fire rate pulse rifle, which I believe is the strongest pulse rifles in the game, just due to their fast time to kill, any resilience, as long as you hit 6 head or 5 and 1, depending on the resilience level. This thing has Zen Moment, which is good, Headseeker, which is fantastic. And yeah, honestly, I feel like that's all you'd really need. You could, if you really want to, you could go Swashbuckler, but I think this thing is an A tier. It is really good. And it has, if you have it, it has a really nice ornament on it that helps out the sight too. Right, so the Vow Pulse. So this is a 390, and unfortunately 390s kind of struggle in the current meta, just due to their time to kill. If they make it so if you get a little bit of a damage bonus, it can kill really fast, but without that, you just leave the people so one shot, and it has such a slow time to kill. It can have like the Void leeches and you can get like the suppression and all that. But that's more of a PvE niche. You can make it work in PvP, but I definitely think this thing could use a little bit of help. I'm honestly going to put it in the D tier as well. Our exotic pulse rifles so far are not looking super hot, but they'll get better. Don't worry. Different times, rapid fire. Now, this thing's perks aren't the greatest because moving target's good. You can run Headseeker if you would like. or heating up, sorry. You could also run Headseeker. Headseeker's pretty good too. But honestly, you'd probably run moving target, Headseeker, and then you put some range on it. But even then, it's got 32 meters, which isn't bad, but there's definitely better rapid fire frames. Honestly, I put this one in the C tier. It's Strand, so it's got that going for it. So maybe if you play a Strand subclass, it would be B, but I'm just going to leave it in C. I don't think it's all that great. The recoil direction kind of sucks. Everything about it is just, it's kind of just a mid tier pulse rifle. Disparity 450, 4 burst. These 4 bursts can be pretty good. They have a pretty good time to kill. Overall, really good. It's got moving target, head seeker, which is good. Rapid hit, head seeker. Rapid hit's great on these pulse rifles because you can 1 burst, you can go up 4 stacks, which is a lot of stat bonuses just from that. Overall, really good pulse rifle. It's a good archetype. It's got the Hawk A trait. Honestly, I think this thing is A tier. It is super, super good, super strong. I would just stick with Headseeker. I think Desperado isn't very good on this archetype. You could go Kill Clip too if you'd really want to, but Headseeker makes it just so fantastic. If you run moving target Headseeker, you're never going to miss a shot. And it's craftable. Darkest Before. Rapid fire frame pulse rifle. Its stats aren't bad. Its handling's pretty low. But this pulse rifle does have slag shot, which is fantastic. For whatever reason, it has full auto on it. But the issue is when it comes to this slot, like the only thing you'd realistically run here is elemental capacitor, which is very good, but honestly, you'd want to be playing a void class, maybe a stasis class or an art class to really utilize it. Or I guess you could use rampage, but it's just again not a very good rapid fire frame pulse rifle. We're gonna put this one down in D tier. It's just not. It can feel pretty good. It just doesn't keep up with the times, being a year 1 weapon. All right, so this Iron Banner pulse rifle, a 390. Again, 390s just kind of struggle just due to the way that they work. They're probably the worst pulse rifles. And it's got Zen Moment. It's got Rampaging multi-kill clip, which is decent. I'd probably go Rampage. It's got Heating Up, which isn't bad. But everything else is really lackluster. This is just a bad pulse rifle. D tier. All right, Grid Skipper. So another rapid fire frame. Decent base stats. Killing wind's good. Moving target's good. Multi-kill clip's decent. But there's just way better rapid fire frame pulse rifles. I think it's better than Darkest Before, but not much. We'll put it in C. Ooh, Graviton Lance. So Graviton Lance got a decent change this past season or two, making it so it fired faster, which made it very, very good. And those explosion kills would make it so that you do like 150 damage to people with them. And it was crazy. It was really, really strong. And then they nerfed the explosion damage. But honestly, I still think this pulse rifle is fantastic. I love using it. It's probably my favorite pulse rifle in the game. I think it's easy A tier. I don't think it's S tier, but I definitely think it is really, really strong. And overall, just a really fun pulse rifle. All right, Horror's Lease. All right, so this rapid fire has very similar stats, but it has to like other rapid fires. But it's got a 55 recoil direction, which isn't great, but the fact that it's 55 is nice. It can get adept mods, making it so you can have fantastic range on it. If you really want to go full into it, then you can either use Perpetual or Zen Moment. I personally prefer Perpetual just because I like it. And then honestly, I would go Kill Clip here. But the thing is so deadly, like even without Kill Clip, when you get Kill Clip procced, you have such a fast time to kill. It's so good. I love this pulse rifle. I do not think it is anything super out of the ordinary, but I definitely think it is one of the strongest rapid fire frames we have. I am probably going to put it high B tier. I don't think it belongs in A just due to, the nature of the gun. If it had a better perk here, if it had like moving target or something, I think it would. I think Kill Clip's great, but it maybe not so much for Comfort Trials. But this pulse rifle is fantastic and just punches really out of its weight class for its archetype. Insidious. So you can get adept mods or you can craft it, either one, depending on which one you go for. It is a 450 4-burst pulse rifle. It's got rapid hit. That's fantastic. But then it doesn't really have anything super meaningful here, which kind of sucks because it's like you'd either go Adrenaline Junkie or Rampage, I guess. But everything else here is pretty lackluster. even though it can get a depth mods, has good stats, I'm just going to put it in the C tier. You can make it work, but it's definitely a little clunky and just doesn't have really a whole lot going for it. Droom's Claw, another 390, which is super unfortunate. These pulse rifles just need some help because it just needs that little bit of damage bonus. But then it becomes really too strong if they just like bumped up the damage to make it, 2 bursts. So I get it. It's just the base pulse rifle itself just won't be that great just due to the archetype. You can run Head Seeker, which is good. You can run Kill Clip, which is all right. Moving Target. But just due to the archetype of the pulse rifle, I'm just going to put it in C tier. Oh, look, another 390. This one has scopes, which don't really matter that much anymore, just due to the fact that range doesn't matter. You'd either want Zen Moment or Firmly Planted, and then probably Rampage or Swash. No really good perks here. This thing's really bad. This goes in the D tier. All right, so Jurassic Green. This one's actually getting a perk refresh as of tomorrow or this week, I guess, for you guys. So the perk refresh makes it so it has Killing Wind, it has Perpetual Motion, which is good. Head Seeker is good. You get a lot of range if you used Encore after a kill. That's really good. Inconsistent isn't terrible. Trade is pretty good. It actually gets Keep Away too. I actually didn't notice that. Keep Away is probably honestly, you run Keep Away field prep. The stats aren't the greatest, unfortunately, but you could probably get some really decent range with this thing. Yeah, 34 meters, and that's before Keep Away. With Keep Away, you're up at 35. Yeah, this thing's kind of a monster, not gonna lie. The handling kind of sucks, so you'd probably want to use Dexterity or Ophidians or Dragon Shadow or something. But you can get some serious range on this Rapid Fire Pulse. I think this new Jurassic Green is probably right next to Horror's Lease, if not a little bit better, to be honest. Honestly, I'd argue a little bit better. Horror Lease is probably better for quick play, but Jurassic Green is better for threes. Right, so Legal Action 2. So this pulse rifle back in the day was actually really good just due to the fact that its zoom had 22, which was crazy. That made it so it could punch like way further than it should have. But now that zoom doesn't affect our range, it honestly is kind of a detriment. Moving target's all right, but nothing else is all that good, honestly, just due to the how much range it has in general, or how much zoom it has, sorry. It would just be too clunky of a pulse rifle. I'm gonna put it in D tier. It used to be probably not I wouldn't say like the best pulse rifle in the world, but it probably would have been B tier just how much sheer range it had, but because of that the nerf to zoom, it's just really bad now. Last Perdition, another 390. We have a lot of 390s. It's got some scopes. And then Firmly Planted is decent. Moving Target's good. Head Seeker's good. Kill Clip can be good. Honestly, pretty decent stats and pretty decent perks on it, but because of the archetype, again, C tier. Nightshade. Right, so they just brought this pulse rifle back this season. It is 450. I used to love the feel of Nightshade. A lot of good handling. And let's see. So it's got Keep Away, Head Seeker. It's got Kill Clip if you want that. Encore is pretty good. Origin Trade's really good. You can get some really good range on it. Putting it up to 34 meters. Honestly, not too bad. That's pretty good. Even that's without Keep Away too. So 36 meters, and it's Strand. Honestly, B tier pulse rifle. I put it in mid B tier. Slow firing rate pulse rifle. Perpetual is good. Tunnel vision can be okay, but I would just go with Perpetual. But the issue is here it doesn't really have anything good in this slot. Like Desperado is really good, I think, for like quick play, and you can definitely make it work in comp and trials. I honestly really like Desperado on these. I know that the Desperado got nerfed on these slow firing rate pulse rifles, but I still think it's fantastic. If you get it procced, it still lowers your time to kill by a decent amount. Like that's still good, and it makes it so you can spray shots. I think Desperado is still really good, but the stats on it aren't super crazy, and I think the pulse is just like kind of mid, but due to the archetype and how just strong the archetype is, I think it's B tier no matter what. Honestly, I don't even see to argue A tier just because of how strong these pulse rifles are. So I'm just gonna, because I definitely think it is stronger than these pulse rifles. So we'll put it in low A tier. No time to explain. I have no time to explain why it is an S tier. Like this pulse rifle is so good. It's been nerfed decent amount of times. But if you get the little exotic perk proc, you pretty much just win every gunfight. You're going to do a guaranteed 30 damage before they even peak half the time. And it just does so much damage. It's so stable. This pulse rifle is just so good. If you want to use a pulse rifle, honestly, I just use this one. It's probably the best pulse rifle in the game still, even though it's been nerfed like 4 times. Oversoul Edict, another rapid fire frame. The stats aren't the greatest on it, but these rapid fires never typically have the greatest stats. But you can get Keep Away, Head Seeker's good, Moving Target's good. Sword Logic can be pretty good too, if you really want to have a damage bonus. Because you can get some really good range on this. It can be Adept, so you can put an Adept mod on it. So honestly, this thing can probably get some chunky range if we put all the proper stuff into it. 36 meters on a rapid fire. That's really good, actually. That's like really good. That's a lot of range for a rapid fire. I'm going to put that low A tier. Outlast, rapid fire frame. Now, it has Keep Away, but then it doesn't really have anything else going for it here. You'd probably want Kill Clip, but realistically, even if you were to go into max range on this thing, 34 meters, like it says 2 less meters than the last pulse rifle we just looked at, and overall has just worse perks. This thing I will put in the C tier. The Augma PR6, 450 pulse rifle, perpetual, then nothing. It has, all of these are bad. So this is a D tier pulse rifle. Okay, so Outbreak is a 450, but for whatever reason, I don't know, when you use this thing in game, it does not follow its stats. It has like a 40 stability, an 80 recoil direction, but the sight just does not move on this gun. I don't know what it is. The perk on it isn't necessarily super great, but it could definitely have some playmaking potential, having nanites go out. It's a very solid, just pulse rifle. I definitely think it is a B tier. I don't think it's anything lower. I don't think it's anything higher. It's just a very solid pulse rifle. You want a nice, stable gun, a reliable pulse rifle, this one will do. All right, the PSI. Now, this is a new pulse rifle. It's got a good recoil direction, 34 rate of fire. So I got fortunate enough that I got a Kill Clip heating up one into the beginning of the season, and I tried it. And I honestly think this thing is pretty good. It's got some good perks on it. It's got Moving Target. It's got Encore. Heating Up's good, obviously. Elemental Capacitor's good. Head Seeker's good. Perpetual Motion's good if you really want some more stability. Kill Clip's good. And the Origin Trait's not bad. It doesn't really do that much, but it's not bad. Honestly, really good pulse rifle. I'll put it in high B tier. I don't think it's anything super crazy compared to the ones higher up on the list, but I do think it is strong. Peace of Mind, Rapid Fire. Now, this is probably one of the better rapid fires in the game, or it used to be at the very least. If you just want to have some form of like stability, you can get a lot of good consistency perks on this thing. So I would use Perpetual Motion and Moving Target. However, the range on it I know is not the greatest, just because 61, so only 34 meters. So it definitely cannot keep up with some of the other ones, but it still has decent stats just due to the consistency perks that it has. I think it's definitely high B tier, no more than that, but definitely pretty good still. Right, the Moon Pulse, another slow firing. Its stats are about average for what these type of pulse rifles are. It's got Killing Wind. It has Moving Target, Head Seeker. So overall, decent perks. I'd probably go Moving Target, Head Seeker just to help with the consistency, but nothing super crazy for this one. It is a slow firing, so just that alone, I think it is a fantastic pulse rifle. So I'll put it in the B tier. I'll put it right. I think it's better than these, but I would use these over this. All right, Revision 0. So this has 2 different firing modes. It has the 4-burst 450 mode, or it has the 2-burst that makes it like Graviton Lance. It has random rolls, and it's craftable. So I guess not random rolls. It's craftable to get random rolls on it. So you could get Perpetual on it. You could get Moving Target on it. You can get Elemental Capacitor. It has a Catalyst that gives it increased stability and whatnot. Overall, it's a pretty good pulse rifle. It has a sniper rifle mode if you play the mini game right with it, where you're hitting headshots. I don't think it's anything super strong, but it's definitely pretty fun. I think Graviton Lance is definitely better than it, but I do think it is better than. I think it's B tier. Yeah, I'll put it right there. I think it's with all these other pulse rifle where it's usable. It's definitely can get the job done, but it's nothing stupidly crazy. All right, so we got another 390 pulse rifle. This is craftable. It's got Head Seeker, which is good. It's got Zen Moment, which is good, or Moving Target, whatever one you want. But due to it being a 390, I think it's one of the better 390s. It's got some good stats, and the craftable helps it out a little bit. So I do think it is a better 390. I think it is. I'll put it in the bottom of B tier, but I cannot honestly put it any higher than that. Stars and Shadow, slow fire rate. We got a lot of perks on this one, but honestly, with all the perks, there isn't really anything super crazy in this column. I guess Killing Wind would probably be your best one, or Quick Draw. But then it's got some juicer perks in this with Elemental Capacitor. We got Moving Target. We got Head Seeker. Kill Clip's good. So this perk, if one of these perks was moved over here, like if we had Moving Target in this slot, and you could run Moving Target Head Seeker, it'd be fantastic. But because we don't, and there's nothing really that good in here, this is the bottom of B tier. All right, Sacred Providence. So 450 rate of fire, fires 4 bursts. You get it from Garden. Now, it doesn't have a lot of perks, which honestly for this isn't a terrible thing, because honestly, all you really want is if you get Rapid Hit, Head Seeker, Ricochet rounds, full bore, range masterwork. This thing has 99 range. It caps out at almost 40 meters. And then as you get, the rapid hit proc, if you can get, even after one burst, if you get 4, your stats are already juiced. Your handling isn't super great, unfortunately. So I guess you could maybe go into something else if you really want to. But overall, like, just a juiced pulse rifle. It's got a pretty fast time to kill, being a 4 burst, and honestly, I think this thing is fantastic. I feel like you need to get like the god roll, but if you can get rapid hit with Head Seeker, it's gonna be super sticky. Range is crazy. Honestly, I put this thing in A tier. It is super good and super fun to use. All right, Smite of Rain, another 390, unfortunately, but this one can either get adept mods or it's craftable depending on the one you get. But unfortunately, it doesn't, like, we have Moving Target here, but then it doesn't really have anything too crazy in this slot for PvP, unfortunately. Like, I guess you could run Eye of the Storm. That could be good, I guess. But it's pretty bad. We're going to put the Smite of Rain down in D tier. It's just not very good. Stay Frosty. Okay, this is a 450 rate of fire pulse rifle. And it gets Encore, which is good. Killing Wind is good. Moving Target's really good. Head Seeker is really good. A lot of Moving Target Head Seeker on these pulse rifles. The working trait's pretty good. Honestly, an overall good pulse rifle. Got Kill Clip if you want, a killing perk. I would run Kill Clip over Desperado, but pretty solid pulse rifle. I will put it in. I'll put it in B tier. I think it belongs there. It's just kind of a mid pulse rifle. Nothing really exceptional, but can definitely get the job done. All right, the Messenger. Now this pulse rifle is juiced. It's a slow fire rate pulse rifle, but realistically, it can get Perpetual Motion, which is really good. It can get Rapid Hit, which is fantastic. It can get Head Seeker. You can get Kill Clip. You can get Desperado. You can get Keep Away. This thing is super, super strong. Personally, if I was to pick, I'd either pick Perpetual Motion or Rapid Hit, and then Head Seeker, and then you get so much range. It just feels so good. This pulse rifle is so good. If you're playing quick play, Desperado's fantastic. Alacrity is really good for trials and comp. I think this thing is S tier. It is so good. The stats on it is fantastic. You can get some pretty crazy ranges. The only thing that I will say is the recoil direction kind of sucks a little bit. So you probably want to like pick a barrel that will benefit like you in that regard. Or if you don't get a barrel that does that, you're going to want to just put a counterbalance mod on it to really help out with that, because you want it to at least be 75. But overall, this pulse rifle, if the one downside is the recoil direction isn't the greatest, like realistically, it's a fantastic pulse rifle. Time War Inspire. This is a rapid fire frame pulse rifle. It has scopes on it, which doesn't really matter too much nowadays. It's got moving targets, and then you can get like something like Iron Reach to really extend out that range. But even with that, even if you go into like everything that really maxes out your range, which this makes it so your zoom is super far. So it gets 60, then you go this, so 70. So you can get up to 35 meters, which is decent range, but you have to destroy your other stats, and it's just like the other perks aren't that great. It's just, I don't think it's worth it compared to some of the other rapid fires we got in here. I'll put this one in C tier. Third Axion, another 390. Slide shot's good. Head seeker's good. That's good. So honestly, a pretty decent pulse rifle. It's got some good perks on it, but it's just these 390s. They're consistent and they can be good. They're just not like the most competitive, which is the issue. So we're just gonna put these down in C tier. 450. This is a set roll. You get it as is, which it's got the Hawkeye breach, which is good. Kill clip's good. Tunnel vision's good, but realistically, it's more of a quick play pulse rifle or a PvE pulse rifle. So we're just going to put it in D tier. I think it is a fun pulse rifle to use. I don't think it's necessarily good. All right, so Vigilant Swing. I think this pulse rifle is really good, actually. I think it's super solid. Got a good time to kill. Got some good range. And honestly, it's not like the best thing in the world, but it definitely is a pretty just solid pulse rifle. I'd put it in... Honestly, I prefer to use it than most of the ones that are in B tier, so I'm going to put it in low A tier. I think this thing is fantastic, especially for threes. And the last pulse rifle on the list, our Gambit pulse rifle, another 390. Let's go with terrible recoil direction. So it's got Perpetual on it, which is good. It's got Under Pressure, which isn't that great, but it's there. Heating up's good. Eye of the Storm's okay. Yeah, this thing is really bad. This thing is pretty hot garbage. So we're gonna put it in the D tier. And I don't know why these are on here, but they're scout rifles, so we're not gonna be ranking them. All right, well, this is my pulse rifle tier list as of season 22. Realistically, in trials or comp, if you're trying to use a pulse rifle, I would stick more towards these ones, and pretty much everybody, unless if you're free to play, I guess, will have no time. But overall, I feel these are really strong. I feel like the pulse rifles are either really strong or they're just like really not good. Because most of these other pulse rifles, like any of these ones, are just like honestly just really not fun to use or aren't the greatest for trials or comp. Obviously, if it's quick play, things can get moved around a little bit because I think like the BXR is fantastic for quick play. It's just really bad for comp and trials. But realistically, I would just stick to the high impact ones. I feel like you can realistically use any high impact pulse and succeed. But if you do enjoy the video, please remember to leave a like. If you enjoy my content, please remember to sub. We are on the road to 3K subs. Thank you so much and have a good day.